Today I'm gonna talk about my assignment which was given to me by Board Infinity, and this assignment was about predicting automobile prices using machine learning. I was given a data set which already had some data about car features and car price, and the features were symboling, make, fuel type, aspiration, uh, engine location, height, length, width of the car, then engine type, uh, the features like that. Okay, so I have already done this assignment and submitted it. This video is just a walkthrough about how I did it. So let's go. So here the first thing I did was importing some necessary libraries which I will use further while doing this data analysis. Okay, so I use pandas and numpy for data analysis and manipulation. Then I use I imported data visualization libraries like matplotlib and seaborn, then some standard libraries, Python standard libraries like OSC's warnings to hide my warnings, uh, then some ML related libraries for like train test split, then accuracy score to check my how well my model does. Then my data is in a CSV format. Okay, so I used read CSV to import this data from CSV to pandas data frame, and I stored it into df, and I did df.head to check my first five rows of the column, first five rows of the data frame. Okay, so here you can see there are a lot of columns, and the final column is price. So these are the feature column, the first 24 columns, and then there is a price column. So uh, then I did df.shape, which gives me dimensions of my data. So there are 205 records with 25 columns in each. So it is like 200 by 25 size data frame. Then I did data frame dot columns, which gives me all the names of the columns which are available in the data frame. uh, the automated EDA report is there is a library for generating automated EDA. So I was trying that out. So but uh, I have done my own EDA, so I will show you that. df.info, so what it does is gives me the information about my data frame. The first is column name, then non-null count, how many non-null values this column has, and then data type of the column. So for example, if we take symboling column, the column name is symboling, then 205 non-null values, then it has numerical data. If we have object data type, then it is high likely to be a categorical data. So there are 15 numerical columns and there are 10 categorical columns. Okay, uh, then I did df.describe to show me the numerical statistics of the data set. It what it does is it gives me some count, mean, standard deviation, mean, maximum, numerical statistics of the data set. So what I found is that curve weight, okay, here 2555, and the peak rpm, which is 5100. These are the mean values in that column. So if we take a look at other columns, 0.83, 98, 174, 65, 53, then we have 2500. So as you can see, the curve weight and the peak rpm has really high mean values, and other columns are just between 100 or 200 range. And because of these two columns, it will shift that mean towards them. It will disturb the whole data distribution of the whole data set. So we have to look out for them. and the average price of the mean price of the uh, car is 13,276. Then univariate analysis, I started with univariate analysis. First thing I did is checking the distribution. I use sns dot distribution plot, which gives me this plot, which gives me the distribution plot for the df dot price column. So as you can see, there are a lot of number of cars with 10,000 to 20,000 price, and there are few columns, sorry, for few cars with 30,000 to 40,000 uh, price. Then I also create a distribution plot for curve weight, as we talked that that it has really high value of 2500, so I wanted to check that out. So it really does contain really high values. Then also, this is also true about peak rpm. So rather than creating these distribution plot one by one, I created a for loop, uh, so that I can create all the distribution plot in one go. Pretty bit lazy on my side, but I know how to build a for loop, so I did it. Then compression ratio, as you can see, there are really less values at 20 to 22.5. This There are no values in between, and there are many values between 7.5 to 10.0. So this really hurts our overall distribution of the data. Same about the stroke, there is a value between 2.0 to 2.5. Then the distribution is really skewed. uh, Sorry about that. Okay, so then I created a count plot for categorical columns. The distribution plot is for uh, numerical data, and count plot is for categorical data. uh, then as you can see, there are many cars with gas fuel type, and there are really less cars with diesel. The the highest number of cars with is with engine type of OHC. uh, the engine location, I found a really interesting thing about this column, engine location. I will tell you afterwards. uh, the car body, the most of the cars has sedan car body. Then the make column, the thing about make column is that it has uh, the the name of the car company, and there are lot of car companies. So one hot encoding that column is will create a really large number of dimensions, so I'm gonna drop that make column. So uh, uh, moving forward, uh, uh, same for other columns as well. So as I was telling, the front and engine location, so there are 202 cars with engines in the front, and there are only 3 cars with engines in the back. But as you can see here, the median of their price is even with the less values of the car, the rear engine location car has really high values. It can be probably Ferrari or like that. So those cars are usually have the engines in the back rather than in the front, but the price is really high. So we can't really say that it's an outlier and uh, delete it, because it really contains some information in it. So I created a box plot to see uh, to look out for any outliers in the data. There are some outliers in wheelbase, there are some outliers in car length, car weight as well. There are some outliers, but these are probably uh, there are many number of outliers. Then as you can see, compensation ratio, we talked about this column a little bit uh, before. So I said that it disturbs the distribution of the data. As you can see, there are some outliers. Okay, so there are few outliers in other columns as well. Let's move on to bivariate analysis. In here I have uh, analyzed each column with the price column, because the price column is our target variable. So I have used regression plots so that I can see which columns are correlated with my price column. As you can see, this regression plot is going from 0 to high value. The it is increasing as if x increases, the y also increases. It is going up in that format. So it shows us the positive linear relationship. Okay, uh, if we talk about the highway mpg column, it shows, see the uh, the direction of the regression line is uh, is reverse. So this is positive linear relationship between engine size and price. Then here there is a negative relationship between highway miles per gallon with the price column. Okay, then there are some columns with almost no relationship, such as peak rpm, which has really weak linearship. It's not positive either, it's not negative. So uh, the peak rpm won't be useful for us for the prediction purpose. Okay, so what I did, I again used for loop to check all the columns, which all the variables which has the positive linear relationship or negative or weak relationship with my price column. So like that, let's move on to the next. So for categorical columns, we have box plot. So I took each and every column with the price variable, and I plotted them. So as you can see, there are some values in convertible, hatchback, sedan, wagon, like that. Then as you can see here, the front and rear, this comes from this distribution plot for each front and rear are distinct. They are not in a line. If they are the same, then those columns are probably giving the same information, but here we have distinct values. So it will be potentially good predictor for the price. Okay, uh, I I created a box plot for drive wheel. Then I created a for loop which will go uh, on with every column, and created a for loop for created plots for those columns. As you can see, the make columns has really high categorical values. Then door number, it has the same distribution for 2 and 4 door number cars. So uh, these won't be useful for us for the uh, prediction. Okay, so let's move on. Then I did some data cleaning. Here I first I don't even wanted to lose my actual data frame, so I created a deep copy of data frame into cleaned, and then I checked the columns. And first thing I did is getting rid of that make column, which has a really high number of categorical values. Then I did some I removed some outliers which I thought will be useful, which I got from this box plot. Okay, so I removed those values from according to those box plots. Alright, so the next thing, so after cleaning our data set, I got 180 uh, mm, rows and 24 columns. 24 columns because I deleted make column. It was 25 columns before we cleaned the data frame. Then about Pearson correlation. The Pearson correlation is used for calculating the dependence between two variables x and y. So what I did is calculated the Pearson correlation between price column and every other column in my data frame. So if the Pearson correlation value is close to 1, then it shows that there is a total positive linear correlation. If it is 0, then there is no linear correlation. Then if there is -1 value, then there is negative linear correlation. And I also check the p-values. P-value is the uh, probability value that the correlation between these two variables is statistically significant. So if p-value is less than 0.0.1, which means which is really low, then it is a strong evidence that there is a correlation between two variables. Then if it is 0.05, then there is a moderate chance. If it is less than 0.1, then it's there is weak evidence. And if it is greater than 0.1, then the probably there is no correlation between. So I use the SciPy stats module to get my Pearson R method, to get the Pearson correlation coefficient for each and every column with the price column. I loop over all my numerical columns, and I created the this data frame which has uh, uh, correlation and p-value for each and every column according to the price column. Okay, so the correlation with the price column itself is always gonna be 1, and p-value is 0. Okay, so what I did is I selected the correlation values which are greater than 0.5 and less than 0.5. Okay, then I I use those columns. I selected those columns for my model. Okay, then the next part is data preparation. The then I separated my categorical columns and numerical columns. I created a final data frame which is using these selected features. Okay, so this is how my data set looks. It still has some categorical values. We will deal with them in next few minutes. Then I uh, one hot encoded those categorical values so that I will be having, you know, only numerical data inside my data frame. Then I used min max scalar from sklearn.preprocessing uh, to convert those values into 0 to 1. And then I applied univariate in univariate linear regression. we only create we only take one variable, one feature, and use it for predicting our price. So uh, sorry about that. So I took the price column into the y and df engine size into the x, and I created a training test set from that x and y's, and I created a linear regression model. So we can use this as so it give me 0.70, which is r score value for the linear regression. Okay, so it gives me that the r square value of uh, by using only engine size with the price is 0.70. uh, then the then next I used all the columns for multiple linear regression, and rather than using only one column, as you can as we did before engine size, I chose all the columns and I created x train, y train. I split the train test split. Then I again used the linear regression model. This time it gave me 0.79, which is higher than the previous values. um, so so this is definitely really not I mean it is around 80%. So it's not the best, but uh, it is what it is. It if I do some hyperparameter tuning, it can probably get bumped up to 85 or something like that, but as we are using linear regression, which is the basic regression model, it is doing really great, but good by giving me 0.79 r squared value. So that's how I did. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you.